Welcome back to another amazing video from N Recaps. Today, I'm going to recap an Austrian thriller drama movie from 2008, Revenge. Spoiler warning, watch out and take care. An ex-convict, Alex, is waiting for his girlfriend, Tamara, after she comes home and some relaxing time together. Alex asks how much debt she has. Tamara says that she has $30,000 in debt. Alex tells Tamara about his friend who is opening a bar and is looking for a partner. He wants to join, but needs 80,000 euros. They both laugh at their ordeal. Alex and Tamara head back to work, which is a brothel in Vienna. Alex is a bouncer for the owner of the brothel company. Tamara is an Ukrainian pleasure giver. Alex and Tamara have a secret love life as dating pleasure givers from the brothel are against company's rules. After the long day at work, Tamara takes a small puff while waiting in the women's room. Konancy, finding her, says that he had something very important to tell her, so he will visit her at her apartment. All the girls live inside of the brothel. After work, Alex pretends to leave for the home, only to jump the walls and go to Alex's room. Tamara is surprised to see him and says that Konpi will be coming to her place to talk about something important. Alex hands over a packet of white powder to Tamara, as Alex is about to leave when Konpi knocks at Tamara's door. They are both startled. Alex quickly hides under Tamara's bed. Konpi has an offer for Tamara. Tamara can stay in this brothel and work for small money, or go to his private apartment where she can serve more powerful clients that will earn her a lot more. Tamara says she would think about the offer. Konpi asks if Tamara had a boyfriend and Tamara quickly answers no. Tamara follows Konpi's orders like a faithful pet. Konpi feels quite satisfied by how well Tamara follows order and leaves. Alex comes out of his hiding place and hugs Tamara. Alex goes to visit his grandfather, Hosner, in his old family house. Hosner is living alone after his wife has passed away. He is saddened that Alex didn't join the funeral. Alex corrects his grandfather, saying he couldn't join because he was in the prison. So, the old man suggests he shouldn't have stolen in the first place. After a little catching up, Alex leaves, promising to come by the next week. On his way out, Alex bumps into Susanne, a neighbor. She came to pick up her old neighbor and drive to church together. Alex returns to the city and visits a bank. But with his past, it's difficult to get any loan. So Alex thinks of an alternative. He buys a gun and tells Tamara that he will rob a bank. With the money, they can pay their debts and go to Spain. Meanwhile, Konancy tries again to persuade Tamara to work for bigger clients and gives her a tour of the place she would live if she accepts the offer. However, Tamara rejects and says she prefers working in a small brothel with other girls. Robert, a policeman, and his friends are having a barbecue party at his house. It turns out that Susanne is Robert's wife. The couple is having trouble bearing a child. Susanne suggests adopting, but Robert, being a strict man, says they should be patient and try having their own children. Back at the brothel, Tamara gets an old client who physically assaults her by beating her up. Hearing her scream, Alex runs to the rescue and starts hitting the client. Konpi is furious and forces Alex to apologize for hitting the client. Alex catches on to the plan of Konpi. He paid the client to hit Tamara so that she agrees to work for bigger clients as he proposed. This incident makes Tamara run away with the help of Alex. Konancy finds the girl is gone along with her luggage. The guards say that Tamara went for a walk and didn't have any luggage with her. Konpi is furious and deducts that month's rent from the guard's salary. He is suspecting Alex, and Alex catches on. Alex goes home and immediately takes Tamara to a hotel to escape being caught. The next day, Alex is ready to rob the bank. He tells Tamara to stay in the hotel. However, Tamara insists on tagging along. Alex steals a car from a parking lot. He tells Tamara to stay in the car. As soon as he robs the bank, they will drive away far and no one can catch them. Alex enters the bank with an empty gun and threatens to shoot. The receptionist quickly hands over the money. On the other hand, Tamara is waiting in the car. Suddenly, a cop, who turns out to be Robert, knocks on her car window. He informs Tamara that it is a no parking zone and she needs to leave. Getting scared, Tamara says her boyfriend will be coming soon. Robert asks for ID and Tamara doesn't have an ID as she is an illegal resident from Ukraine. Alex watches the cop from the corner and raises the gun while threatening Robert. Robert drops to the ground and Alex gets in the car. As he drives away, Robert manages to shoot a few rounds. Alex doesn't realize that Tamara is shot. He is heartbroken at the failed plan of running away together. He disposes of his clothes and leaves the car and Tamara's body in a deserted place. Alex comes to his grandfather's house. He lends his grandfather's car, lying that his bike's engine died. Robert is off duty for the day. During dinner, he tells his wife how he ran into the robbers who stole 50,000 euros. Robert gets a call from his supervisor. They got the getaway car and a woman's body with it. Robert insists that the robbers argued about money and the woman was shot by the other robber. The supervisor doesn't believe Robert and he finally admits that he shot at the tires. Alex returns to their hotel room and collects his stuff. He takes Tamara's passport and sobs uncontrollably. The next morning, the Hosner is surprised to see Alex at his home helping with cutting wood. Later, they go grocery shopping where Alex meets Susanne again. Alex hears Susanne talk about the robber and how her husband Robert almost caught them. Alex is thinking of getting revenge for his girlfriend. He leaves for a walk at late night. Meanwhile, Robert is having dinner with his parents. The district police have filed a case on Robert for manslaughter as he killed Tamara from behind. Robert feels somewhat guilty, but his father says a pleasure giver deserves to die. Robert leaves to get some beer from outside. Alex is watching Robert and Susain from behind the bushes. Susain talks to her mother-in-law and tells her the news. They can bear a child because the problem lies with her husband, Robert. The next day, Susain comes to meet Hosner and had a little chat with Alex. Alex gets to know where Robert goes for jogging. Alex goes to the lakeside and returns with just witnessing Robert jog. That night, Alex sneaks out of his house and watches Robert and his wife argue from the shadows. Robert thinks people are judging him for the killing of Tamar, and this is tiring him out. The next morning, Alex hears his Hosner play the harmonica. It turns out Susain is once again visiting Alex's grandfather. While leaving, Alex stops Susain and asks her motive for visiting Hosner so often. He tells her to stop coming, to which Susain asks Alex to come to her house at night. The strange request confirmed Alex's suspicions of her liking him. Alex goes to Susain's house as she requested. She offers him some white wine and they get cozy together. Alex heads upstairs to freshen up when he notices the empty nursery. He immediately understands why Susain is doing such a thing. The next day, Hosner compliments Alex as he sees him work hard every day. Alex feels happy to hear such words from his grandfather. However, Hosner next mentions about getting a wife, which reminds Alex of Tamar. Alex takes his gun, loads a few shots and heads towards the lake. Robert is on his jog again. However, Alex chooses not to shoot him and returns home. At home, Alex notices his grandfather is getting weaker each day. He insists Hosner get a checkup done, but Hosner refuses. Alex goes shopping alone and meets Susain there. He wanted to ignore her, but she asks about Hosner and invites Alex to her house for that night. Robert, on the other hand, is hanging out with his cop buddies, but in the middle of it all, he feels a panic attack. This shows how the accidental killing of Tamar is taking a toll on him. Alex goes to Susain's house as she wished for. When Susain asks why he is so cold, Alex opens up about himself. He tells how his girlfriend is murdered by the killer lives on. Getting all emotional, Alex and Susain spend some intimate time together. Robert comes home early and Susain requests Alex to go home. Alex tells that he should meet Robert, but Susain insists him not to ruin their marriage. Alex leaves. Robert looks devastated. Upon asking a few times, Robert admits that he is devastated by the accidental killing of the girl. He tries to look at her photo but can't control the guilt. Susain takes away the photo from Robert. The next day, Hosner is playing his harmonica beside the woodhouse where Alex is working. Suddenly, he becomes quiet and Alex runs to check over him. Alex is relieved that Hosner is not dead but just sleepy. Alex convinces Hosner that he will take care of the house. Finally, Hosner agrees to go to the hospital. After dropping his grandfather for a checkup, Alex sits by the lake. Robert is doing his regular jog and notices Alex sitting. He has noticed Alex in this area a few times. Robert greets Alex and starts a conversation. Alex asks if he is the cop that killed the girl. Robert says that it is him. As Alex confronts about the shooting, Robert regrets the death of the young girl but also blames the robber for taking the girl. Robert explains that the girl didn't help the robber in any way. Then why did the robber bring the girl along for such a dangerous event? That night, Susain prepares a lavish dinner. She gives the happy news that she is pregnant. The next day, Susain comes to visit Alex and tell him that they should stop doing what they were doing. Alex shows her Tamara's picture and Susain immediately identifies her as the robber's girlfriend. Alex says he doesn't want to hurt Robert anymore. He hasn't forgiven Robert, but he also agrees that he shouldn't have brought Tamar there in the first place. Susain asks what Alex plans to do from now on. Alex says he will keep on living there until the police catch him. We hope you've enjoyed our video from today. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel to receive notifications from new and interesting videos. Thank you for watching and see you next time.